where you can hear music. So I'm going to turn the music off for a second. I know I'm early, but I want to say hello, and I'm going to look in the comments to see if you can let me know if you can hear the music when I turn the music on. So I'm going to try it again. I'll be live in like 3 minutes. All right, I am going to go live now. I'm turning off the music because I realize that... So wait. I am doing this a little bit differently today because my, when you have a new setup, so first of all, welcome to my weekly Wednesday Live. I am Anne LaFollette, and I come on live every Wednesday to talk to you about art, creativity, and surface design. And I'm excited for a bunch of reasons today. Number one is that I am wearing this new blouse that has my latest fabric collection on it. One of the designs from my most recent fabric collection. And so I thought I would wear it today so that I can show you just one of the things that's possible when you learn about surface design and how to turn your doodles into repeating patterns that you can then get made into fabric. So I'm super excited, and I'm also excited because I'm in my fabulous studio. And of course, when you have a new studio set up, sometimes everything doesn't work perfectly. And so I actually couldn't get the countdown timer to work. And I've got this super cool thing that's called a stream deck. And I'm supposed to be able to like push buttons and get those cute little faces to pop down like I did last time. You know, the balls with the happy faces, the emojis, and it's not working at the moment. And that's okay. I probably just need to turn everything off and then turn everything back on again, but it was too close to when I needed to be live with you and I didn't want you to wait. So we can do hard things. This is one of the great lessons about having, this is a great lesson in life in general, right? So sometimes things don't work properly and you just got to go with the flow and figure it out and do the best you can. So thank you, Natalie. So let me see if this will work. Can I get Natalie's cute comment up on, let's see. I can get Natalie's message on here. Thank you, Natalie, for letting me know that it's a beautiful blouse. I do love it. And of course, the fabulous Pauline Riley is here as well, which is fantastic. So a lot is working, right? A lot's working. And Marianne Walker-LeClaire is here. I'm so sorry, Marianne, about your recent loss. It's so sweet of you to be here with us today. Cindy's here, Beverly's here. Oh my gosh, lots of you guys are here today, which is fantastic. And you could hear the music. That's fantastic. I love it. So the other super exciting thing about today is that, as you may know from reading my email yesterday, tell me in the comments, did you read my email yesterday about the fact that I have been dreaming about having my own creative mastermind probably for the last 3 years. So for those of you who are new here, or if you end up watching the replay, I am Anne LaFollette, and I had a corporate career for over 30 years, working for big international retail companies. You would recognize all their names. But when I was around 55 years old, I think I was 55 and a half, I got called into my boss's office and he told me that they had just cut my job. That eliminated my job. And he said, go down the hall, talk to human resources, and pack up your things. And as you can probably imagine, if you have had a similar situation happen to you, it throws you for quite a loop. My whole identity at the time was attached to my fancy corporate job. I got up every morning, I put on my fancy suit and my heels, I got in the car, I drove into the city, and then got into the office and worked, hard all day, and then commuted home. Of course, we started out with BlackBerries, if you remember those, and then, of course, we all graduated to these fabulous iPhones, and you're attached to them all day long, answering people's emails, being responsive, working your way up the ladder, etc. So it took me a really long time to kind of try to figure out, well, I'm going to just get another job. I mean, I'm not that old, right? At the time, I was around 55. It's like, I'm not that old. And so I tried to get another corporate job and nothing was working. Nothing was working. And so my husband finally turned to me and he said, Sweetie Pie, I've been doing a little bit of cleaning out of the basement and I found this box of art supplies. And since we're cleaning up the basement, would you like to use them? I think it might be really great for us to dust them off and for you to play around and lean into your creativity. You have a ton of art supplies. You've never had time to use any of them. And so maybe now the universe is telling you, go ahead and play around and see what you discover. And I discovered this thing called service design, which is to take a little doodle or a sketch, bring it into a computer program called Adobe Illustrator, and you turn it into what's called a repeat. So it repeats endlessly. And you don't have to put it on fabric. Here are all of my beautiful wrapping papers, right? These are a whole bunch of wrapping papers. You can put your designs on either fabric or on paper or on a gazillion other products. And in any event, I then discovered that was really the beginning of my story. But then I discovered online businesses. And the reason I discovered online businesses is because I took my first online course from this fabulous woman whose name is Carla Sondheim. And she offers art classes. And I didn't go to art school, so I figured, well, I need to learn more to become better at doodling. And I didn't have any ambitions to become an artist with a capital A, but I did want to figure out a way to replace my corporate income. I wanted to make sure I could still stand on my own 2 feet. I'd been brought up by a very, very forward-thinking mom who was always encouraging all of her kids, myself included, to have your own pursuits, have your own income coming in, just in case you are going to, at some point you need to have your own income stream or streams. And so I learned all about by investing in masterminds in particular, which is what I'm going to talk to you about. I learned about how to create a business for myself around what I truly love, which is doodling. and then teaching other people how to take their doodles and turn them into products, or turn them into a business of some sort, or add it to an existing business. Some of my favorite students, of course, all my students are my favorite students, but many of them, they're not interested in surface design. They already had a creative business, but they found me so that they could expand their existing business, because a portion of what you do when you learn surface design is applicable to many other businesses. So Jane Foster, who I absolutely adore, and she always watches the replay of these sessions because she's teaching right now. She has the studio and she teaches sewing. And she loved to sew. She fell in love with sewing when she was 6 years old. And so she's teaching sewing in her studio right now. But during the pandemic, she had to close it. And so she was exploring online and she found me and she said, well, this could be something really interesting to learn how to do. And she didn't want to have a surface design business. She wanted to go back to doing what she loves, which is teaching in person. But now she can sell her own fabric to her students. So instead of them going to Britex or someplace else to purchase the fabric that they're going to make something out of, like a blouse, or she teaches them to sew whatever they want, they can bring the sewing pattern that they want, but they can of course go to Britex to buy the fabric that they want, but she also has fabric that they can purchase from her. So it's an additional part of her business now. It's a totally different part of her business. And that's just one incredible story. So because I started to see this happen with many of my students where they had a business already, right? They either, like Maria Alzanier, she taught in-person watercolor classes. And then in a similar manner, she couldn't do that during the pandemic. And she'd always wanted to learn how to turn her watercolor, which is much more complex, into beautiful repeats so that she could add it to an existing business she already had. She not only taught water, and still does now, she's able to do it again in person, watercolor classes. She also has a retail store. And she has beautiful, beautiful products, and many of those products had her watercolors on them, but she didn't know how to expand her product offerings to have, for example, a linen dress line. And the patterns on her linen dresses are all of these patterns that she created from original watercolor work. So it's just another way of talking about how she has a creative business. It's a very, very vital and fantastic and multi-income streams, right? She's got a retail store with many, many products she sells, from tea towels to pillows to now linen dresses. And she teaches again as well. And she's also learned how to teach online to reach more people. So I wanted to start out with a couple of those incredibly inspiring stories because that's why I've always wanted to have a creative mastermind. So this is the inaugural launch of my Creative Mastermind, and I'm just looking for about 10 to 12 people. I want it to be really small. I want it to be really intimate. I want it to really be a way in which you can achieve the ambition that you might be that might be buried inside you. And what I want to do is I want to get my notes, because there are a couple of really important things I want to make sure that I talk about around the mastermind, and why it might be right for you and why it might not be right for you. But a mastermind, we've been talking about masterminds for most of November. I think that on my blog, if you go to my blog, we've been talking about masterminds, and I'm in several masterminds. And what's great about masterminds is that you're in a group, a small group, and you either meet in person or you meet virtually. My mastermind is going to be entirely virtual, at least in the first year, so it's more accessible to those of you who are in all over the country and all over the world. So that's the first thing I wanted to make sure you know. It's going to be all virtual, but we're going to have monthly meetings where I am able to, so hold on, I'm going to bring up the page. So because my buttons aren't working, I need to figure out, and I can totally do this. I know I can do it. I am going to, I think I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, where I share my screen, and then I go to my website. Can you guys, I want to make sure you can see what I'm seeing. Oh, you can? Okay, good. I don't have to do that. You can see my website, right? You can see my website. Let me see if I'm over here. And over here is the big red button that says blog, right? So if I click on blog, hopefully that's going to work. And let me see if I can click on so you can go to my blog by clicking on the red button. And then I also want to make sure that if I click now on my Creative Mastermind, and Pauline will put this in the, yeah, she's going to put the link in the comments, which I really appreciate. Thank you very much, Pauline. So let's see. That is Ecamm Live. I now want to, this is Google Chrome. So my setup isn't working, but that's all right. You know what? We can figure it out. Here we go. See, I figured it out. I just had to be patient with myself, right? So when things don't go right, you have to take a deep breath, think for just a second, and see how you can get it to work. So you should now be seeing that URL up in the top right here, right? It says members.artwithann.com/mastermind. It's the Creative Business Mastermind. And now let's see if I can scroll down. That's one of the things that seems to be a little tricky. But you can scroll down, and I can too. I'm sure that I can do this. Let's see if I come here and okay, you can see it. Wonderful. So you can scroll down, because I want you to be able to see all of the different information that's that's on that page. And so I am going to go to the page myself, and just give me a second, since I'm kind of maneuvering a little bit with things not working exactly right, but that's okay. This is just one of those things that is so powerful, where you learn how in the moment to get it to make things work. All right. So hold on, I'm still here. I'm going to come back on screen in just a second. Okay. So I'm going to come back on screen. Let me see if I can now, I think that I might need to like close this down so that you can see me. Or not. You don't want to see that. That's not very interesting. Right? That's not interesting. Ecamm. Window. Scene. Scene windows. Camera 1. All right, so now you're seeing my screen, which is awesome. I have camera 1 selected, so that should be good. Let me see if I do that. And I think that I must be hiding back here. So let's see. Right, there's a way for me to get myself back on the screen, potentially. There we go. There we go. So listen, thank you so much for being patient with me today. I'm in my beautiful new studio, and of course, everything doesn't always work perfectly. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to read to you a little bit about the mastermind and why I love masterminds myself and why I feel like I have made the biggest amount of progress by being in a mastermind. And I think the first thing that I would want to share with you about the power of a mastermind is that it raises your ambition. Now, you tell me in the comments, you might have something that you've always really, really wanted to do around your creativity. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with surface design. It could be very well that you absolutely love and have learned how to do, this is actually Robin Koza. So Robin Koza she loves to do all kinds of creative things. She's learned how to do what's called paint pours. But she also came into my universe to learn surface design, and now she has a commissioned business where she does wallpaper, one-off wallpaper on a commission basis. And one of the things that that's allowed her to really do is, and she may not think of it this way, but it's really allowed her to sort of raise her ambition about, well, how does she want to then build on that success or build on what she loves to do to create, continue to create the type of business that she wants. So I wanted to sort of challenge you to think about raising your own ambition, right? What else have you really always wanted to do, but you don't have the right mentor to help you do it? And it's something in the creative space. Then the next thing is that it's really, really key to when you're in a mastermind environment that you're going to get the help that you need to kind of master your emotions. And one of the things about our emotions is they can kind of take control of us. And by emotions, I mean fear, or fear of failure and also fear of success, or feeling the sense of overwhelm, or feeling like you are having a really, really hard time with time management. There's lots and lots of emotions that show up. And so being in an environment where people kind of get you get support from me and the group is a way to ensure that you can still continue to move forward on your journey. The other thing that's really, really interesting is that I think it's really important to feel like you are going to be able to reach that next level of success. And a mastermind is defined as the coordination, I'm going to read it, the coordination of knowledge and effort in the spirit of harmony between a group of people for the attachment of a specific purpose. And that's a quote from Napoleon Hill, who actually is the first person to use the word mastermind in this context. And so I participate in several masterminds. And so one of the incredibly things that I'm so thrilled to be able to offer to you is some of the insights that I've gained from being in those masterminds. So when you join my mastermind, and again, this is a founding member opportunity. So I'm only looking for 10 of the right people, 10 to 12 of the right people to come join me for the first mastermind group. And it's a 9-month program. It starts in January. We'll definitely do some kickoff in the month of December to get ourselves all organized. But it officially kicks off in the beginning of January, and it runs for 9 months. And the reason it runs for 9 months is because I want you to be able to get this incredible new knowledge, understand exactly what your strategies are for 2024, start to implement those strategies, have the type of interaction with me and the rest of the group that you need to actually make those goals, achieve those goals. And then I want us to have the fourth quarter off, or the fourth quarter could be for more implementation. But I don't know about you, but as soon as we get into October, November, December, it's kind of like, I don't really want to be doing anything that is really, really hardcore. I want to start to think about the following year. And so that's why it's going to be 9 months and not a year long. It starts in January, ends in September. And I think that what I want to reiterate is the support, insight, and accountability that you get as we pursue excellence together, right? It's all about the pursuit of excellence. And I want to invite you to think about the creative business that you have already or the creative business that you've always wanted to build. And again, it does not have to be surface design oriented. So you don't have to have come through my Pattern Design Academy program. This is really for women. For example, Maria's a great example. I hope Maria will consider joining. She's the watercolor artist in Sweden. She has a creative business because she's got a retail store where she sells physical products. She has her in-person painting classes. She has an online painting set of courses, and she also goes and showcases. Actually, she is an artist with a big A, with a capital A. And so she frequently is featured in a gallery. So it's also perfect for women who are quilters. So if you love to quilt and maybe you're in a quilting group and you just want to figure out, well, how can I take my quilting, how can I create a business out of the quilting that I love to do, then this is a perfect opportunity for you to learn how to do that. And for me to help you ask the right questions about what specifically does that look like? What do you want it to look like? And then how can we build it? And how can I help you put the structure in place that you need to build it? The other thing is that it could be for other people who are other women who have these, what I was describing earlier, like Robin, who would also be perfect for this group, for this founding member group, because she also is a multi-passionate creative. She loves to do lots of different things, and yet she also wants to get the support around the structure that's needed to grow her audience, to get more commissioned wallpaper, more wallpaper commissions, and potentially build an online course. And I know how to build an online course because I have several now of my own. The Pattern Design Academy being my signature course. I think it's also really important that if you, for example, you might have thought of creating an online course because there's something that you love to teach and you've always taught it, but you've taught it in person in the past, or maybe you're a retired teacher, but you love to continue to share your knowledge and help people learn that particular skill. And it could be in any industry, or maybe you're deciding that that's actually much less interesting to you and you'd like to build a retreat business. Or maybe you want to have a combination of an online course and a retreat business, but you don't know how to do it. And you also are, it feels a little overwhelming. And so you need some system support, and you need to understand how to grow your audience appropriately so the right people are finding you and finding the retreats that you are offering, whether they're virtual retreats or in-person retreats. So the other thing that's also I've just found incredibly important for me in the masterminds that I've joined is you're joining a group of people who totally get what you're trying to do. And there are many, many people who are in our lives who absolutely love us and they support us completely, but they don't really understand what we're trying to do. And so being in a group that gets you is incredibly, incredibly important for your ongoing support, your sanity, your mindset, and for making the right moves to move your business forward. So as a founding member, let me just tell you a little bit about the nuts and bolts. And I'm looking at the clock because, of course, I never want to keep you too long. And you can go to members.artwithanne.com/mastermind and scroll down. It's application based. There's a super easy application to fill out. It's on that page. It says fill out the application here, and you click the here, and it's just a couple of questions. It's totally free to apply, so you don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to put money down and I really don't know if this is right for me. I'll be reviewing all of the applications. And then we're going to get on a phone call. I want to vet each person who is interested in joining because I'm curating this group to make sure that everyone who's in it is doing something that's really unique. And that's not going to be hard because each of you are already super unique and you have different goals and different aspirations. But you need to be in an environment where I can help you set the processes and systems in place to allow you to actually achieve those goals. So there's going to be a monthly call. And the monthly call will be on Zoom, so we can, of course, see each other, get to know each other. And one of the things that I will do is it's a combination of teaching and then also sharing wins, worries, woes. Those are actually words that were shared with me in an email from Allie Ride, who would also be an incredible, and I'd love to personally invite you as well, Allie, to apply to the Creative Business Mastermind, because it's important to have this monthly touch base, right? It's a touch base where we're going to get together. I'm going to do some teaching, and then we're also going to have an opportunity to find out what are you struggling with right now, so that I can help you move forward. So those are monthly calls. So it's a 9-month program, so there'll be 9 of them. And I'm waiting to see who's going to be in the group to figure out the best time to do it. But I want to make sure that for any of you who are in Europe, I will make sure that it's not in the middle of the night for you. I'm very cognizant of international time zones and ensuring that this is absolutely doable for people who are in the United States and also in Europe. Then there are going to be 2 intensives, and these intensives are basically 2-day virtual sessions. And it's just 4-hour blocks. So 4-hour blocks on day 1, 4-hour block on day 2. And I have found that in the masterminds that I am in, that is actually the perfect amount of time to be able to work through a number of different topics, have a guest speaker, talk about a very specific area in the business where everyone needs to make progress. And those intensives will be virtual. So in the future, it may very well be that one of them could be in person, but right now I want to make this as approachable as possible for everyone so that there isn't any travel involved, and we'll be able to do it virtually. So some of the topics that we'll cover in those 2-day intensives are around technology, around automation, around staffing, like how do you get the most out of a VA, how do you find a VA, and of course a VA is a virtual assistant, which is usually the first person you want to hire to be able to get things off your plate that are not in your zone of genius. And we'll also talk about content production. One of the things that I was actually on a training earlier this morning, and Brendan Bouchard was sharing with us one of the key things that he's seen. And Brendan Bouchard, you may all know, he's like one of the most famous coaches on the planet, and he has this program called Growth Day. In any event, he said one of the distinguishing characteristics for people who are successful in any part of life is the consistency that they bring to their business and the consistency that they bring to their goals. So we're going to talk about content production and consistency. Then we're going to also have debriefs from the masterminds that I'm in. So many of you know I'm in a mastermind with Jeff Walker, who is the New York Times bestseller of the book called Launch. And he has a very specific method for launching both physical products and online products or services. And I'm in his mastermind, and it's always incredible. So we'll have some debriefs where I can share, with his permission, several of the things that get discussed when I come back. I see him 3 times a year. So debriefs from masterminds. And those are really important because they are the way I know what's working now, what's working right now, and how that, of course, changes over time and what we need to be aware of. And obviously one big thing that's happening right now is the use of artificial intelligence. And we all need to embrace artificial intelligence because it's here to stay. But there's ways to use it that you can be very, very comfortable with, or that I certainly feel comfortable with, and that I'll be sharing with you. And then there's going to be a Voxer channel. So Voxer is actually kind of like a Telegram group. I don't know if you're familiar with them. It's sort of like a WhatsApp, but it essentially it resides on your telephone, on your phone, on your iPhone, not your old-fashioned telephone, but on your iPhone. And it's a way for you to actually send a quick message to anybody else in the group or to me when you have when you have the need for a quick response. And of course, you'll get training on how to use that when you're in the mastermind. But it is also important to know that I always start with strategy first. And so one of the great things about being in a mastermind group is that everyone in the group is different, and everyone in the group is going to be able to share what their specific why is. Why are they there? What do they want to achieve? And what are their specific goals? And then what I've just seen in every single one of my masterminds, and what I'm going to bring to the Creative Business Mastermind, is the sharing of ideas, and how somebody who might have a business that's really quite different from yours their idea resonates with you or allows you, enables you to think in a different way about your own and how you can grow your own as a result, or you implement that strategy in a really unique way that works specifically for you. So I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to let you read the rest of it by going to members.artwithann.com/mastermind. And as I mentioned, the key thing is it's going to be a very, very small group. And the programs like this usually cost $12,000 or $12,500 or $25,000. The mastermind that I'm in with Jeff Walker costs $25,000. The mastermind that I know that my friend Bonnie Christine has is now $12,000. So this is a really incredible opportunity for you to come into, experience a mastermind, and get all the benefits of a mastermind at a founding member price. And my mastermind is not going to stay at this price, right? So my mastermind eventually is going to be a $12,000 mastermind. But in the beginning, I want to have my founding members come in. And so I'm giving an incredible value for the price. And I'm going to tell you what the price is. It's listed on the members.artwithann.com/mastermind. You can't actually buy it yet because I want to interview each of you who are interested in it. So fill out the application. But it's going to be $5,000 for the 9 months that we're together, and your founding member price, if you decide to stay in it, will always be at that price. But it will definitely go up in 2025, right? Because I know the value of these masterminds, but since I am doing this for the very first time, and I want to create an incredibly compelling offer for my founding members, and again, I'm only looking for 10 to 12 of you, I'm offering that incredible price. So I hope that you will take the time to think about it and also fill out the application. So the application is free. There's no fee. And so I'm just going to leave you with a couple of other ideas here that I think are super important for why this might be right for you. And it's not going to be right for everyone, obviously. I'm only interested in like 10 to 12 people. So, but I want to also let you know that my secret sauce, I think, is in 3 places. So if you're multitasking, come back to me. I think that my students have told me over and over again that one of the things I'm really good at is strategy. And then I'm good at helping you see I can see things you can't see. And that's often the case where we can't see that our work is actually improving, but someone else can see. Or you don't think you have a signature style, but someone else can see it. And so in this mastermind context, I think it's going to be really helpful for me to be able to share that with you, where I can see what you need to do next, and you're too close to it. You can't. And so that strategic piece is really important. I think the other thing too is that you guys know me. I am like the chief encourager, or encourager in chief. And that's very important because mindset is what differentiates people who make progress from people who just stay stuck. Because so much of what happens inside our head slows us down or prevents us or makes us feel like, no, I can't do that. She can do that, but I can't do that. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it. And I'm going to help you do it. And I'm going to be your encourager in chief. And I think the other thing that's really differentiates me, and I've been in a lot of these groups, and I'm successful in a lot of these groups beyond my wildest dreams because of this one thing. Are you ready? I keep things really simple. And I truly believe that mastery comes from iteration. You master a craft by doing it over and over again. And you might know Malcolm Gladwell's book. I can't remember now what it's called. I can't remember. One of you might be able to remember what he actually called this book. It's Malcolm Gladwell. It's one of his first books, and he's talking about mastery, and that if you that he did a bunch of research, and you have to do something for 10,000 hours before you really achieve a certain level of mastery. And let me know in the comments if you guys know the book or if you remember the book. And I don't want to mess anything up right now but I did want to see if there are some comments. And the revenue amount is not a firm requirement, Natalie. So I see Natalie Cotman-Roth's comment. Rotman Coates comment. And so, Natalie, I wanted to mention you specifically. I wanted to mention you specifically because one of the things that you are in the dog niche, right? You're in the dog niche. And it's a huge niche. It's a huge niche. And I know that you have ambition. You have really, really beautiful ambition, but you need more direction and you need more clarity around how to make what you want to achieve come true. And so I would absolutely, I am speaking to you. I'm speaking to you. You're on my list, lady. And so thank you for making the comment. And I'm glad that I actually am looking at the comments now because they were hidden there for a minute. But the other thing too is I was talking about simplification, right? The key to mastery is an iteration. And so what else did I want to tell you? I guess I wanted to say that that I am honored for you to even consider applying. And I know this is going to be the most amazing group because I've been dreaming about this group. And in fact, I was talking to one of my mentors about when I was in my corporate job. There was really only one time in my corporate job when I was actually truly filled with joy. And it was because I was on this woman-led leadership team. And we were opening stores in different amazing cities around the world. And each of us had a different area of expertise to open these stores. And I remember each of the women, and I was saying, I have those women in my community. Those are the women I want around this table, around this virtual table. I can see you already. I'm so excited about what this opportunity has in store for you because I want to serve you. I have had the opportunity now to make this incredible progress in my own creative business. I created it from scratch. I created it from scratch. I didn't even know what an email list was. And so I want to share that with you. I want to share all of that with you because the feeling of empowerment that you have when you're able to make your dream come true is amazing. And so I wanted to leave you with just a couple of things. And these are from Brendan Burchard from this training that I was on this morning. And he said, number one, raise your ambition. If there's something that you really, really have always wanted to do, you can do it. You just need to find the right guide. He also said it's going to be super important to master your emotions. I talked a little bit about that, about how we have all these emotions and they hold us back. And it ties into mindset and how important mindset is to help you continue to move forward. The other thing he said everybody thinks that there's an 80-20 rule. But he has done years and years and years of research looking at very successful people. And he said, you know what? It's not an 80-20 rule. It's a 60-40 rule. And what he means by 60-40 is part of what holds us back is we have this sense of overwhelm that we're either going to have to put our regular life on hold in order to do this new venture or to grow the business we want. And that's not the case. So he said 60% of your time needs to be working on items that are going to move your business forward. But 40% is your life. It's everything else. It's taking care of your family or your puppies or your adopted dogs, if that's in your particular case, Natalie. It's everything else you have to do. It's cooking. It's your exercise. It's sleeping. Sleeping is not included. This is just a regular 8-hour day. But it's so important. But I just thought that was eye-opening because I think we feel like we are never going to be able to find the time. And he said, no. It's not like 80% of the time you have to be working on your business and you only have 20% to hang out with your spouse or your partner or your friends or everything else in your life. It's actually almost 50-50, but it's 60-40, which I thought was incredibly empowering. So then the other thing he said, which was so incredibly resonated with me because I am simple. I keep things simple. I do not want a complicated business. And I also believe that mastery comes through iteration. The way he said it is he said you want to double down on what's working. You want to double down on what's working. And he said, in general, if you think about companies, and we are our own companies. I have my own company now, right? And the Follett Art. And he said, they only do three things. They only do three things. And they master those three things. And so he gave this great example of Steve Jobs. That when Steve Jobs came back to Apple after they'd kicked him out for years and then the company was falling apart and they brought him back, the first thing he did is he looked at their product assortment and said, this is way too complicated. We're going to sell three things. Three things. A phone, a computer, and an iPad. And back in the day, it was not those three things, because I think it was before the phone. It was his music device. Do you remember the music device that had this circular thing in the center where you moved your thumb to advance the music? Three things. So I just absolutely love that. I love that. He also said you need to invest more in you. And I mentioned this on the members.artwithann.com/mastermind on the page where you can go read more of the details. The biggest expense on my own profit and loss statement is the investments I make in my education, right? Either the new courses that I take or the masterminds that I'm in. And so he said, you have to invest more in you. You're not investing in me by coming into my mastermind. You're investing in you. And the best way for you to actually move forward more quickly is to follow some of these formulas that are tried and true formulas for success, instead of trying to figure it out yourself, because you're cutting a check for speed, right? You're cutting a check for speed. So the other thing he said was it's important to feel the day. And so he said that when he works with people on a one-on-one basis, and he only has 4 people a year that he works with on a one-on-one basis, he said the thing that they really want is they want more joy and more aliveness in their life, right? They want to be working on things that they love, and they jump out of bed in the morning and they cannot wait to continue to work on them. And that's how I feel in the morning, because in my business, I'm working with you. I'm working with you at some level. I'm either just working with you by writing my blog, and hopefully my blog brings a smile to your face, or you learn something new in the blog, or you come into my Doodles, my Doodles coaching week, and I teach you how to make your first repeating pattern. And so I'm serving you in that way, and I'm super excited to bring joy to you in that manner. Or you're coming into my Pattern Design Academy program and you're learning even more skills that you can apply in a bunch of different ways. And now I'm able to actually bring you this opportunity to be a founding member of the Creative Business Mastermind. And I'm going to serve my heart out, because that is what brings me the most joy, is seeing your success, understanding your goals, understanding exactly how you want to move forward with your business. And he also said that it's super important to be the lighthouse. And I think that is one of the things I get out in the morning, and I want to be the lighthouse. I want you to come into my community, and so I can support you. So with that, I will leave you. This has been super fun. I apologize for some of the technology not working exactly right, where I couldn't scroll down on the page that I showed you, but it's all good. And it's all good. And I don't know if I can even show it one more time. I'm not even going to worry. You guys know where to go, right? You know where to go. All you need to do is hit the apply button, right? The apply here button. So go to members.artwithann.com/mastermind. And it doesn't cost anything to fill out the application. I will be reviewing every single one. And I put in there initially that I would love for people to be coming into the mastermind who are making about $25,000. But as Natalie asked, it's okay if you have not hit that yet. We will get you there, my friend. We will get you there. And so I cannot wait to see who applies. That's going to be one of the most amazing things for me, is to see who's going to be around this table, right? Who's going to be around this virtual table. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So thank you again all so much. You know that I love to say in closing that I am Anla Follett, wearing my own clothes now. I've actually gotten a bar so that I can show you my whole collection of shirts, and I might have to start to sell them if any of you want one. And but I always love to say in closing that I am Anla Follett, and it's never too late to create. I'll be back next week, and I look forward to talking to many of you soon as you complete your application. Go to members.artwithann.com/mastermind. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye for now.